Welcome to Good Goodbyes, the Funeral Facts podcast. We are really glad you found us. In this podcast, me, Simon, a funeral director,
and me, Tina, I'm an independent celebrant.
we will discuss all things funeral in an informal space to demystify what happens when we say goodbye.
Based on your questions and queries, Si and myself are two industry professionals that are going to chat through the hows, whats and wherefores. We actively work in the funeral industry in Devon in the UK. So, we hope you enjoy the episode ahead. Welcome to Good Goodbyes.
Hello and welcome to Good Goodbyes with me, Si.
And me, Tina. Today, we're going to talk about
something very British indeed. The weather.
Yay!
So
for a UK-based podcast, this is well overdue, talking about the weather.
Incredible that we've got into the high 50s, 60s without talking about the weather. It's something that is a big consideration and something we felt in conversations together that was worth having a little, even snippet episode, bite-sized episode talking about it. It's a very well-known fact that if you're going to have a burial service, it is going to rain.
Yes, the likelihood is high.
Yes, especially here, it's just almost a given. And there are considerations to make, and I think we can go the other way with it as well. We'll have a little conversation about what it's also like stood in the middle of summer with 150 people in a crematorium chapel and it's 30 degrees outside. That is as bad, I would say, as standing at an actual burial ground with the snow. So from a weather point of view, Tina, what's perfect funeral weather?
I think a bright day, but not too hot and not too windy, because I've certainly been holding on to all sorts of pieces of equipment and things on a very windy day. So I'd say a pleasantly warm day without any rain is a more perfect kind of setup, especially for something outside. I mean, after some bouts of rain, and even if the rain hasn't been on the day you're doing it, but it's still overcast, but it's been the days before, it still influences the ground you're going to walk down to the funeral spot, the footwear. I've always got wellies in my car because, in my car boot, because the footwear is a situation and some of the guests might not have thought that through.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I think
a little bit of dryness is always good, I feel.
Absolutely right. From a funeral director's point of view, I wear a big, heavy, full-wool frock coat and a waistcoat and a shirt and a tie and woolen striped trousers. Colder the better for me. But I think people get tied to dress code. And I think this ties in quite nicely with our weather conversation. If you are going to a funeral in the middle of summer, do not feel duty bound to wear a suit. But nobody's going to mind. No one's going to be cross that you haven't put a tie on when it's 32 degrees outside. 32 degrees, am I talking about? UK.
Wow. Sometimes in the UK it's edging in that direction.
Yeah. But I think it's a consideration to make. And Tina being prepared, having her wellies in her boot is another one. I've got 8 umbrellas in the back of my hearse because people just don't bring them with them. They think, I shouldn't really have one. It's not something that... Of course you should. It's raining. Have an umbrella. Like, all right, mine are all black and maybe everyone at home's aren't. But again, no one cares.
Yeah.
Like, if you are dry, then everyone is happy. If you are stood there absolutely soaked because you've only got a pink umbrella, well, more for you, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes the whole thing feel more miserable. I mean, I think sometimes the mood of rain can be very cleansing and purifying and you can kind of bring that energy to it, can't you? But if it's lashing at you and it's coming at you sideways, you will want a brolly to shelter beneath.
Absolutely. One of the things we bought as a business quite early on is a big shelter to go over graves. So we've got a 5 meter by 5 meter, not quite pop up, but kind of fairly easy up shelter that we can use, so that in the absolute depths of winter, if it's really, really bad, we can make it a little more bearable. And that was a decision that was made from years and years of standing at graveside, holding an umbrella over a minister or a celebrant because they've got their hands full reading and doing everything else, and just get rained on from above.
Yeah.
While looking a bit of a fool, actually.
Mm.
So yeah, there are things you can do. There's ways and means to kind of facilitate. Some of the other things to consider as well is don't be hugely shocked if you are having a burial and the weather is particularly bad. If your funeral director suggests to you, let's have the lowering early on and then carry on the service after that, rather than all standing with the coffin above ground before. Let's get the coffin into the ground. And that, for many different reasons, water in the grave, snow in the grave, whatever it might be. One, also, there's a big team of people that are there standing, waiting, just getting wetter and wetter and wetter. Mm. It's a consideration to make.
Yeah. And it seems a really sensible one. I've seen that happen on a few occasions when the weather has been really bad.
Yeah.
And it's fine, actually, to kind of move away from there's lots of things that I have to think about pragmatically, like if we're using a speaker, if we're using a music playing device, they're electrical, they don't like the rain. So we have to think all those little bits and pieces through. And, there might be a more sheltered corner that we could go to for a moment and say some words under a tree and get some shelter. Who knows? But, you just might want to flex a little bit in that moment.
Yeah, very, very much. But yeah, same applies for summer. I've had to shelter up in the middle of summer because we are having a 40, 50-minute service outside. Yeah. Again, if you're outside for an hour in smart attire, you're going to feel that. We're very lucky. We've got some natural burial areas close to us. Hackpen is one. They have a big star tent that they can put up, which is just brilliant. So that there's some shelter, because as open as it is in the winter, it is the same amount as open in the summer. Mm. So yeah, I think definitely considerations and things that can be done. We've put AstroTurf down actually at graveside before because it's just so sodden, so muddy. Yeah. You have 2 or 3 weeks of solid rain, as we do in the UK fairly regularly. You are trudging through mud to get to graveside, and then you are going to stand in it for 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. Yeah. It's just getting wetter and wetter and worse and worse. So we've put AstroTurf down, things like that. Have a chat. As always, have a conversation with your funeral director, with your celebrant as well, about how can we make this the best it can be, because the best it can be might not necessarily be stood in one spot for half an hour. Yeah,
absolutely. And, and the use of umbrellas as parasols, because normally in warm weather, people might put a little hat on, and then unless they just don't feel that's in keeping with the funeral. So I once saw a lady who, was on the edge of fainting from the heat. And what they all needed was a little bit of shade. So just trying to find some shade and bringing water. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and not feeling like you're kind of, going to, you don't want to faint at somebody else's funeral.
No, absolutely. So I think, the wet, the cold, the winter, and the summer are as equal to think about when it comes to what you're going to do and what it is. I think what's important, though, as mourners, as guests at a funeral, is don't overthink it. No one's going to care if you're not wearing a suit in 30 degrees. And equally, no one's going to care if you've only got a big yellow anorak, but you're going and standing in the hammering down of rain in a cemetery. Don't think, I haven't got black coats, I can't wear a coat. Of course you can.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, what's important is that you're there.
Yeah.
And that's what, anyone wants to see, is just that you're there and you care enough to be there on a rainy day or on a windy day.
Yeah. Tina, you're smarter than me when it comes to memory stuff. Have we done a dress code?
We have done a dress code episode, and I'll pop a link in. We have done, because we were talking in that episode about whether it's okay to wear sandals and informal sort of footwear. And yes, if you're really, really hot, of course it's fine. And most families will really, really not mind.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's my memory's not what it was. I'll have to click on the link in the show notes to go back and listen to that episode as well. But yeah, I think there are certainly things that can be done. Have a chat with funeral director Celebrant. Look at the best way that you can make sure that everybody's comfortable. And like Tina says, just being there above and beyond, more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, any funeral directors out there that want a good link to a custom designed tents and things, let me know. We used a very good company for ours. It's all all branded and everything. We've even got fold out leather chairs now. We've got all sorts. Just because as it comes up in conversation, we use it. But there we go.
It's good. It's good to have all the bits and pieces, and for clients to know that you have. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. If you've got any weather stories yourself you want to share, do pop them in over to Sinai, and check out the links.
Great stuff. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Good Goobyes, the Funeral Facts podcast. Please do like, subscribe, comment and share. Drop any questions on our social media, on Instagram, or in the text option in the show notes.
Si and I are qualified professionals, but we always advise our clients to seek any additional support from medical practitioners if they need to. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay well and be kind to one another.